Hey, what up, everybody? Yes. Ah. Right. Oh, I see the bronies there. What's poppin', everybody? Hold on 2 seconds. I'm just taking care of all the technical things over here. Give me 1 second. Oh man, we got a lot of people in here. What up? What up? What up? Katharina, I see you. Bree, I see you. Jade, Phil, Jubilee. Paula, what's poppin'? What's poppin'? Cool, give me 2 seconds. I just want to make sure this is live on YouTube as well. Okay, good. This is live on YouTube. Okay, let me turn that off. And pop these in. All right. Let's see, am I connected? Could you guys hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Yeah? All right, cool. Yo, what's poppin', everybody? This is dope. We're doing something new over here. Oh, hold on. Why is my waiting room still on? Hold on. Give me a second. Just want to make sure people aren't locked out. If any of you have your mic on, make sure it's off just for now, please. But please put your video on. I want to see your faces. Cool. All right. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Cool. All right, cool. What's going on, everybody? I just want to take a second to see all your faces. I finally get to see you guys. You know, normally we're interacting on Instagram, and so I just kind of see like your little circle and whatnot. What's up, Barbara? Yeah, I see you. Let's see. Dope. Dope. Romeo, what's popping, brother? Cool. What's going on, everybody? So how do I do this here? One moment. Cool. So what is going on, everybody? And welcome to Living Magic. I'm super excited to have you here. This is an inspiration and an experiment in many ways. I've never done anything quite like this exactly, you know, where obviously I've done lots of live channeling and Q&A and workshops and retreats and whatnot. But what makes this so unique and so special is the inspiration behind it of having love as a currency. That was really the inspiration of all of this. You know, it's like, what does a world look like where you live fully and entirely through expressions of love? You know, be it in the ways that you want to show up out of love and the ways that you want to receive from love. You know, and so this is very much an experiment just to see what's possible and what we can co-create together doing this, where the only currency of exchange here is love, as you guys already know. You know, so by the end of this or throughout this, however you want to express your love is completely and totally accepted, whether it's with a spirit-led donation or whether it's just you saying thank you and letting yourself receive all the love that's coming to you. Every and any expression of love is absolutely welcome, so long as we're doing things from that energy of love, because then we start to co-create that reality for each other. And it's going to start to leak into our own realities and worlds and inspire deeper creativity and deeper inspirations for ourselves in ways that maybe we were limiting ourselves, be it with thoughts of money or business plan or marketing or whatever the case may be. Love will reveal more of the truth. All right, so that's the inspiration of this. And before I go any further, I got to give a big shout out and a lot of love to Avea, who is also here with us. She is my right-hand woman, my magical sidekick and assistant to Living Magic. She's a big part of the reason why all of this is possible. She's put in the love and the passion and the energy to create the website and help build the platform for all of this. So if we all just take a moment to say what's up to Avea and show her some love. Where's Avea at?
Yeah, I'm here.
What up, Vay? So this is Avea, everybody.
Thank you. I'm super happy to be here. It's so nice to see a lot of your guys' names. I'm actually literally looking at a bunch of your names because a lot of you were emailing. And so I see some of you. I'm like, oh my God, that's your face, because we've been going back and forth. So happy to be here. So happy to serve everyone and super excited for this co-creation.
Yes, dope. Thank you for being here, Brony.
Mhm.
Yes, so Avea is my closest friend. We've created a lot together. We've had a lot of journey together. So she has really helped birth and blossom Living Magic in so many ways. So someone who I'm extremely grateful for in many ways. And oh, look at all the love you're getting down there, Avea. And so that brings us here to this moment, to this creation. And so in a moment, I'm going to dive more in. I'll go more into my trance and see what wants to come through. But my inspiration with this is really to bring through whatever messages are wanting to come through that will help set a tone and create a sort of inspiration and opportunity for exploration that we can then explore with each other through more one-on-one. Because what I wanted to do with this is I wanted to make it kind of like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like Bashar or Abraham Hicks, right? If you haven't seen them, they're basically speakers and channelers. But I wanted this to have that kind of feel where, in the beginning, I might give a channeled transmission and monologue of sorts and whatever themes I'm saying in the energy field. But I also wanted to create room for Q&A and give it more of a personal approach, a more of an intimate touch, where instead of you guys just texting me on Instagram, I get to talk to you face to face and receive from beautiful vibration. So that's the inspiration here. And is there anything else I wanted to say? I think that's it. All right. Yeah, let's just play. Let's see where this wants to go. So give me one moment here. Just want to change. Perfect. Cool. So give me a moment. I'm going to go into my state. We'll see what wants to come through. And then I'm going to open up the floor for some Q&A. And what I'd like to ask everyone to do before we get started is to just take a moment to set your intentions. To take a moment to set your intentions to receive the highest love and the highest expressions, the highest insight, the highest clarity possible for yourself, and to shine the highest love possible. To take a moment to set the intention to show up fully, to let yourself take up space and be fully expressed, so that if you have a question, like, you need to be shy with it or whatnot, because trust and believe, especially if it's one that you're afraid to ask, chances are it's something that will benefit everybody here. I've done this enough times to know that those questions end up being the most potent, and everyone's just like, oh, I'm so happy that you asked that. So I just wanted to highlight that for one. So take a moment and set your intentions. You could do it with eyes open or eyes closed, and just bring more light and love into this space, as if we're all painting this energetic playground together with our unique color. And I'm just going to take a moment to get in my space while we do that. Perfect. So the intention behind all of this is really love. What is possible with love? What can it really allow for if we allow ourselves to open up and be expressed in a space of love? How much more expansion can we allow for? How much more clarity? How much more support? How much more can you feel held and seen if we create a space of love where the only currency of exchange is love, is generosity? For those of you who don't know me, who might be more new to me, my name is David Lyon, and I'm a mystic, a channeler, a psychic, and I'm really passionate about helping people call forth the magic of their soul so that they can live a life of more light and more magic through the wisdom of their soul, so that they could experience more ease, more joyfulness, more playfulness, more fulfillment, more synchronicity, without having to go through as much struggle and suffering and push and effort. Those are all old modalities of the older world, so to speak, that are not necessary. They are valid, but they're not necessary. You know, for those of you, for people who still want to will their way through life and feel like they have to make things happen and hustle and grind, that's perfectly valid. It's simply not necessary anymore. It is entirely possible to live purely through your intuitions, your inspirations, and your excitements, and to create a world of living magic for yourselves. From our perspective, living magic is the opposite of living struggle. It's what the spiritual folk call 5D, you know, but I like to simplify things and simply call it living magic. So this is my excitement. This is what I love to do. I love to call people forth into this realm of living magic so you could experience more of that joy of your soul. You can get greater connection with your spiritual gifts, which are your birthrights, your spiritual, your divine what gives you connection to beings, so they are essential to you. And so we're going to be placing a lot of emphasis on how to connect to your spiritual gifts in very playful and practical ways, and answering whatever questions you might have on the topic. But more than anything, it's helping to lead you into a space of greater living magic and joy, so that your life becomes a reflection of that. Your life becomes a reflection of magic, of ecstasy, of joy, of bliss, of passion. Your relationships take on a new tone. You know, it brings more passion and harmony into your relationships. The way you approach your creativity and your work begins to shift, and you begin to go even more and more into ease, into the realms of what you might call heaven. Because like I always say, heaven is not a destination. It is a state of being. And so it is only by embodying the frequencies that you imagine heaven to contain do you begin to experience heaven in your exterior reality. So perhaps asking yourself, what energies, what frequencies does heaven contain for you? Does it contain ease? Does it contain bliss? Does it contain magic and miracle and possibility and love and inspiration? Whatever those frequencies are, it is only by acting on those energies in your current life that you begin to embody the state of being of heaven and arrive at that so-called destination, which means that you cannot get there through acting on frustration, stress, struggling, thinking that I just need to tough this out because then once I get that thing, once I finish this thing, then everything will be okay. It doesn't work that way. And deep down, you know this. It is about acting on the energies that you prefer now and trusting that to unfold in the ways that you can't even perceive yet, in ways beyond your imagination, and allowing your higher self to bring in that reality. I'm going to lead you guys through a little bit of a exercise just to get everyone on the same vibrational playing field. So if you're not already doing so, you're going to want to sit yourself comfortably. And with the intention of embodying more heaven, I want you to go ahead and close your eyes into the magic of that intention. How does that intention feel to you? To embody more heaven, more of the frequency of heaven. How does that feel to you? What are the unique frequencies, the unique textures that represent heaven for you, the heaven vibration? And can you begin to allow to let yourself feel those vibrations now? Can you begin to feel what bliss feels like? Whether you feel it in your body or just around you in your field, it doesn't matter. But just paying attention to and giving attention to what heaven feels like for you. What does bliss feel like? How does that move through your body, the energy of bliss? What does ecstasy feel like? What does lightness, playfulness, fun, and passion feel like? What does aliveness feel like for you now? Because as you take a moment to feel these energies, ultimately, what we're asking you to do is to begin to feel the energy of your spirit that moves through you and around you. You will feel it as a sort of current or a stream that can move you and pull you in different directions, that has certain textures, certain qualities to it. So the feel of that spirit might feel like bliss, might feel like inspiration, might feel like heaven, excitement. And so whatever it feels like for you is perfectly okay. However, we're just going to refer to it as spirit. So as you let yourself just sit and be here, take a moment to just notice and receive the energy stream, the in-streaming of spirit that is present for you now. You can all feel this. It'll feel like a current or a stream that is moving through you. And all I want you to do is to playfully, not seriously, to playfully allow yourself to receive the energy of this spirit, which is essentially the higher you. There is no separation between you and spirit. This energy is simply representative of the totality of your being. And so as you feel the in-streamings of spirit, what I want you to do is in a moment, I want you to go ahead and very playfully by energy in a certain direction. Notice that energy is pulling you in a direction. It's calling you forth somewhere yourself. And I just want you to allow yourselves to follow that energy of spirit wherever it goes, playfully, as if you're playing a game of chase or tag. There you go. Letting yourself feel everything that's there, everything that's present, so that as you follow the trail of spirit, you begin to ascend into higher and higher states, lighter states, Because in a moment, I'm going to begin to count upwards from 1 to 7. And with every number that I count up from 1 to 7, I want you to go ahead and use each number to amplify your state, to allow yourself to receive more of that spiritual energy that is calling you forth, the trail of light, the trail of energy that spirit energy, that spirit stream is leading you towards. With every number that I count up from 1 to 7, just allowing yourself to receive the stream from your spirit as you follow it wherever it goes. As we begin to count now, from 1, 2, just allowing yourself to receive that energy, that spirit stream, as if you're just receiving a stream of energy through you that is nourishing you, feeding you and fulfilling you. 3, giving yourself permission to be more free and playful as you do this, to be happy and excited about receiving this energy, wondering where it's going to lead you to. Because it's not important as you do this that you're seeing anything in your mind or in your consciousness. You can, but what's important is that you're just letting yourself feel and receive the love of spirit as we count to 4. Taking a moment now to call in all of your highest angels to be with us here and now, to support and assist you in these shifts, these changes. Beautiful. 5, allowing yourself to come more alive as you playfully receive even more of that energy, letting it light you up, maybe even letting it begin to reveal certain things to you as you excitedly follow this stream of energy, wondering where it's going to go. 6, turning your shine up brighter and louder. And 7, self-realized heaven. Self-realized heaven. What does that feel like for you as you allow yourself to receive the in-streamings of this spirit energy moving through you? Notice how it can light you up. Notice how you can feel lighter than you did moments ago. Perhaps even noticing how your breathing has shifted. And then allowing this spirit energy to begin to go ahead and reveal certain expressions of yourself that are wanting to come more online. Maybe it's more of your playful nature, where you let yourself be more silly and fun, and seeing all the benefits of that. Maybe it's more of your aliveness or your wildness or your creativity, but just allowing this energy to begin to reveal to you different expressions of yourself that are wanting to come more online, and what they look like and how they feel to you, getting excited about them. Maybe even letting this energy reveal to you certain activities that it wants you to focus more on, that light you up more, that have more of a texture of excitement, which is the energy of your higher self. What kind of activities are being revealed to you? What is it wanting you to do more of that feels exciting, letting you know that that is the way, that is the path? And what expressions are wanting to come more online with that excitement? Beautiful. And so as you take a moment to just allow this energy, this excitement energy, this spirit energy to begin to reveal different things to you in your consciousness, different expressions, different activities, different choices, different ways that you can interact with life. As you observe this and choose to receive this, All I want you to do is to take a moment now and pause. Stop for a moment. Stay right there, still allowing yourself to receive all of that spirit energy that's moving through you and lifting you up. But as you pause here, I want you to take a moment to look back on giving yourself permission to look at the version of you that you were before we started this call, not with judgment, but just with curiosity and observation. So that from this vibrational vantage point, you can observe and see the behaviors and the thoughts and feelings and attitudes of that version of yourself that perhaps no longer serve you. Perhaps seeing more clearly places where you were keeping yourself stagnant or being too much in thought, doing things that you thought would serve you, but don't. And just giving yourself permission to observe these things until it becomes crystal clear to you what serves you and what does not. And as it becomes crystal clear to you, you can automatically begin to go ahead and to let go of that reality with love and appreciation. A lot like a butterfly appreciating its caterpillar self. Letting it go until you can no longer see it, so that as you do this, I'd like to go ahead now and ask your spirit, ask your angels to go ahead and take any energy that you had invested in that reality and to go ahead and reinvest it into this one, the more heavenly one, where all your new expressions are coming online, allowing those expressions to become even clearer and richer, the activities to become even more colorful and brighter. And every aspect of yourself that you choose and prefer to come online now and to be that much more bright and clear for you so that you can feel it palpably. You can feel the textures of this reality. And most importantly, there you go, you're doing perfectly. And most importantly, from this space, as you're seeing the new expressions come online and the new activities and feeling more lit towards those things and feeling how possible they are for you, taking a moment to renew your vows with your spirit. For that is your first true love. Your first relationship is that relationship between you and you. So taking a moment to renew your vows with your spirit, letting it know, I see you, I hear you, I feel you, I choose you, I'm devoted to you, I listen to you. Take the lead. I allow you to take the lead, and I will surrender to this eternal date that you will be taking us on, because that's all it wants to do. It wants to take you on a date of excitement, of joy, of passion, of fun. Let it take you on that date through your life. And your only job is to show up joyfully, just like any date. To show up with your playfulness and your joyfulness. and to allow yourself to show up for this date eternally, letting spirit take the lead as it reveals to you whatever synchronicities are required and relevant to your next steps, as you choose to simply follow the feeling of for the rest of your life, if that's what excites you, if that's what aligns you. Beautiful. And so in a moment, I'm going to count back up once more from 1 to 7. And on the count of 7, your eyes will open wide awake, no longer entranced. However, instead of waking up out of trance, you're going to wake up through trance. As I ask your spirit to lead you through trance, bringing with you all the wisdom, all the feelings, all the sensation, all the love that's best kept with you in the waking world. Like you just had an 8-hour nap and 3-hour massage, so that as you begin to rise from 1 to 7, with every number that I count up, I want you to use each number to amplify that spiritual energy to the best of your ability, so that it's beaming and seeping out of your pores when you open your eyes, as we count up from 1, 2, slowly, gently arising, 3, turning up your light even brighter, 4, allowing yourself to just receive the energy of the spirit, knowing that you don't need to give in order to receive. You can just let yourself receive. 5, feeling even more alive. 6, turning your shine up as bright as you possibly can. And 7, eyes open, wide awake, feeling good, giving yourself a nice little stretch. Good. Beautiful. Good, good. It's taking some time to come back. So what I just led you through is a modality that I recently created called light work, where the intention and purpose of it is to connect you to more of your light body, so you could see certain things more clearly that perhaps you weren't before, in terms of what expressions are wanting to come more online and what patterns and habits are no longer serving you, so that you could let those things go through your own self-realization of it. So what I want to do is I want to open up the floor for some exploration, for some Q&A, for some expressions, and however your love wants to express itself, so that we could begin to continue to co-create this journey with each other. So who feels called to express something, to share, or to ask a question? How are we going to do this? I have a lot of people here. Okay. Put up your hand and we'll call on you. Cool. Let's go with Priscilla.
Hi, David.
What up, Priscilla?
How are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
Good. I feel a little lightheaded, but good.
Good.
I actually have a couple questions that I wrote down, just because these are questions that I've been really wanting clarity on, or just, I guess, a pathway. I'll just start with the first one I wrote. The first one is, sometimes I will receive a message or a download in that moment. I know it's a message because I can feel it in the heart. But when that happens, I'm doing literally random things, super random. How can I receive the same knowing feeling or message / download intentionally, like the way that you do when you are able to connect with my energy or your own spirit guide's energy?
By acting on the messages that you've already received, right? So there's a part of you that's wanting more, right? That's wanting more messages, and it's like, oh, I get these things, so I know I can receive them clearly. I want more of this. But what your guides are asking you to do is to act on the messages that you've already received, so that you could become a greater container for those messages and receive them more effortlessly and in the flow. Because otherwise, you might find yourself just sitting there, just wanting to receive messages and receiving so much joy from that you don't actually move. Right? Is this resonating with you?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's happened a couple of times where I know I should be saying something, but like I don't. And it's almost like I'm testing myself, like, okay, if this happens this way, which I know that it will, then I know that that message was real. And then like I kind of miss my opportunity. And then it takes a while for that to happen again. And then I do the same thing again because it's been so long since I received the message. So it kind of fluctuates.
Well, the good thing is you could never miss your opportunity. There might be different windows of opportunity that open up, but the opportunity is always present. The question is, what message have you been receiving that you haven't chosen to act on yet?
Do you want me to tell you? It's like really random. It's too well, okay. Sorry, there's just so much that I want to say. Okay, so the first real message that I remember, well, there was two, but there was one moment where I was just like, oh my God, I think this is a real message. But it was, I think I was, well, oh my God, I'm sorry, I'm just really nervous.
You're good.
So I was driving to see my parents, and during that moment, I received a message that one of my family members was going to move in with my dad, and I knew it specifically. And I really wanted to ask my dad, like, to clarify this, but I didn't really get to clarify it until 2 weeks later, until he mentioned it. And then it was for me, I was like, dang it, I really missed my opportunity to like just for myself, not even to like show off to other people. It was just more for my own clarity of like confirmation, because I feel like for me, I really need a lot of validation, and like I miss my opportunities to have that and like create that connection with either like my higher self, spirit guides, or angels. So that's one of them. And it's kind of like that. And there was something similar happened like that with my fiance. He was going through an interview, and I felt like I needed to tell him to double check something within his interview process that he was doing. And I didn't. And I feel really guilty because he didn't do it. And then he ended up not getting the job. And I don't know, it's just that kind of
Right.
stuff.
Well, this is just showing you how magical you are, yes? Because even if you haven't been acting on it in the ways that you would prefer to, you're seeing that what you're receiving is accurate and real, and how magical you are, right?
Yeah.
And so the idea moving forward, what your guides want you to do is to just allow yourself to receive and act on these messages more, so that then you could be taken to a new level of your gifts by giving yourself the confirmation that you're looking for. That doesn't mean that you won't still receive confirmation in the external world, but it's by giving yourself the confirmation that you're looking for, by acting on these things and letting yourself see for yourself, you kind of, in a sense, promote yourself or graduate yourself to a new level of energy, so that your guides can give you more. They can unlock more of your gifts for you. They can give you more messages because they see that you're willing to dance in the flow with them. Is this making sense?
Yeah, it is.
Is this helpful?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful. Anything else?
I wrote down two more questions, but I don't want to take up other people's time.
Let's go with one more.
Okay. Okay, so I want to know if I'm a bad person. And I say that because sometimes being around newly awakened people, I feel like they always are like, oh, I can do this, and my ability to do this and this and that. And like, I feel like someone who's been learning about spirituality for a very long time, I'm like struggling like to have those same abilities that they have. And like sometimes that comes off as like jealousy and like judgmental. And I just wanted to know if that made me a bad person, and if that's why I'm not able to like unlock the gifts that I have.
Well, it definitely doesn't make you a bad person. And I think you know that. It's again just reflecting to you the opportunity you have to act on the certain things, to act on the messages you have been receiving. It's connected to that, because the jealousy that you're feeling is just the feeling of knowing that you can do the same thing. And so it's a jealousy towards yourself, towards your own divinity, because you're like, like, why don't I do more of that? So it's actually serving you beneficial purpose to get triggered in those ways, because it's letting you know that you can do those same things. And the more that you do choose to listen to the messages you receive, the more you're going to come into alignment with those people, with whoever is meant to stay in resonance with you. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Beautiful. Is that all?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Priscilla. All right, cool. Who wants to speak, ask a question next? Oh, actually, give me a sec. I forgot to plug in my laptop. Give me 2 seconds. Avea, maybe you could entertain them. Give me a second. I'll be right back. My laptop's gonna die.
What am I supposed to entertain everyone? I was totally enjoying that. Priscilla, I actually love that question. I'm so happy that you asked that. I feel like so many of us experience that, like even in our own like feeling of ourselves and feeling light and beautiful and spiritual. It's like, yeah, there are moments where you're like, fuck, I'm feeling jealous right now, or like I'm totally judging this person. And I love that you asked that. And I loved your answer to Lion. So thank you for asking that, for being vulnerable. It's such a good share.
You know, actually, yeah, I'm back. Yes.
Right.
Actually, I have an inspiration here. Before we go to the next question, I could feel something wanting to happen. Vey, would you care to share with us what kind of things have you been learning about and expressing in your reality? I feel like there's a potency there that will benefit everybody.
What kinds of things that I've been
learning about and exploring in your reality?
That's a big question.
We big people.
Let me just drop in a second. Geez, been learning about a lot. I feel like one thing that's been coming up is just having a greater awareness of even the very, the very, very subtle moments where I may be holding back my own expression. And although I'm really quite good at being fully expressed, there are still these like little nooks where I've been, where I've just been kind of noticing like, hey, I didn't say that thing, a bit like Priscilla was saying, you know, like, but in even more subtle, like it's just super, super subtle. And it's just tiny moments where I might want to say something and I didn't, or there might have been a small, like a little, like, it's almost like it feels like a thread of like, of intuition on something, and I may not speak on it. And it just, it's just been really fun to have a greater awareness of it, and also to speak on it, because I realize, and also to speak on it from a certain space, because I realized that I realized, this was kind of cool, I realized how impactful too it is from which space you're expressing yourself. And so if I'm kind of expressing whatever that thing is, but with like there's a level of uncertainty, or like, or even I would say even a desire for like, are you gonna agree like with what I'm sharing? It won't like reach in the same way. And so I've been noticing that when I really just speak from the core of my being and express from there, it just kind of pierces through people's whatever, whether it's judgments or barriers or whatever it is, and it lands, and it's actually feels like super super empowering every time I do it. And it also allows me an opportunity to practice that like even deeper level of self-awareness in my own expression, and also just like deep self-honesty has been another theme of mine, which I know I've shared with you, and stuff has been coming up for me in that area too. But yeah, just a really deep sense of like of self-honesty, and just having the willingness to go where I don't want to go. Like it's like that, it's like having the willingness to that thing that's like, oh, that you just know, just like it's just gonna trigger the fuck out of you, and just literally choosing to just soften in it, and to make a choice to actually go towards it, to embrace it. That has been super liberating and scary all at the same time, because I feel like I'm also inviting those scarier triggers in, and and all at the same time, at the same time liberating myself in such a deep way of just choosing like, you know what, I'm not going to keep resisting this thing that's like triggering, and I'm just going to embrace it. Like I'm going to be willing to feel the stuff that I don't want to feel, because ultimately it's just going to dissolve it. Like if I can just meet it with love and compassion, then I can dissolve the thing that I don't want to feel. And so yeah, so that's been definitely a common theme, and just a practice that I feel called to share with everyone that's really been just so helpful for me is, for one, like definitely taking time to take up space, even when you're in the context of like, when you're with other people, for example, like in this moment, like just to like take the time that you need to drop into yourself. Like whether you're being confronted with someone who may be attacking you, or maybe you're feeling triggered or whatever it is, instead of like allowing that to react in your body, it's been so helpful for me to literally just close my eyes and just breathe, just like literally focus on my breath. And it can take just a few seconds, but my experience of just of myself and also engaging with others has been one that is so much more blissful, just because I've been allowing myself this time to just take a few seconds for me. Even if I'm in the context of a regular conversation, I'll close my eyes and I'll just like just sink in deeper and just surrender and just follow my breath. That's it. Same thing when like triggers arise, or anything, or if I'm hit with like just strong emotion, it's just like literally allowing my body to just and that shit has been, because we're taught so much to just always like go. Like someone asks a question, you answer. Like it's just, and there's just like there's like a treasure in allowing ourselves to just drop in with ourselves in everyday context. And so yeah, those are some of the themes I would say: expression, deep self-honesty, and just that willingness to move towards your like greater triggers, the stuff that really gets to you, and experiencing the liberation through that.
Oh, beautiful. Cool. Thank you. Just out of curiosity, how many of you guys can relate to that, of feeling held back in your expression in some way, in not letting yourself take up space because you feel like you'll take up too much space? How many of you guys can relate to that? Just pretty much everyone. Yeah, that's why I felt that there was going to be some sort of potency there, because, you know, what I want to encourage you guys here is really to let yourself take up space over here as you're asking questions, as you're exploring, because as you do take up space, as Avea so beautifully did, you give everyone else permission to do the same, not just over here, but in your reality. And when you take up space, it's like you're enlarging your cup. So life in the universe could literally give you more, right? It's like, imagine you have a garden, and the space you only take up is a small plot of land. So you have a small bit of soil, and you're like, I'm just going to take up this much space. So even if life wants to give you more, if it wants to water you more, there's only so much that you can blossom. There's only so many gifts of your blossom you can receive. But when you allow yourself to be honest with yourself, that, you know what, I do want to take up more space, regardless of my insecurities, regardless of this, that, the other, and you allow yourself to be expressed, you're actually opening up the valve inside of yourself that allows for more expansion and receptivity of your spiritual gifts. It is all connected. It is the sun receiving more of its shine. Is this making sense to you guys? Is this resonating? Beautiful. So with that said, let's go to the next question. And Vey, I'll let you choose for me. That way I could just stay in my state.
All right, let me see. I'm just gonna like drop in and see where the energy takes me. So just if you can raise your hand, and I will just look at everyone and I'll let spirit tell me. Okay, I felt, let me see here. I felt immediately Bree. Yes.
Hey, David and Bea. So the question
What's
that
up,
I
Bree?
have, hey, so actually what you said really, really resonated with me, because a fear that I've sort of been having is, as I'm starting to expand more in my gifts, I'm starting to just receive messages, hear truths, and sometimes I know they're specifically tied to a person, and then sometimes I don't. But when I say those things out loud, when I do express them, sometimes I notice that it triggers others, and then that kind of like frightens me. It like makes me, mainly because I don't want to, as much as I know sometimes I have like this inner knowing that they needed to hear that, or they needed to know that, I still don't want to cause them like that pain or that struggle. And so I'm wondering how to sort of like grapple with that, or maybe even how do I know, I guess more specifically, when I know it's for someone, and I have this like kind of almost really persistent messaging that's coming through, how do I kind of determine when to pass that on versus when to kind of like hold that and know that that's maybe like a lesson or something that that person will need to kind of process on their own?
Yeah. So here's where there's a beautiful subtlety that we get to touch on, which is that not everything needs to be expressed. And we're going to talk about how to discern. So oftentimes we'll receive messages that are very pertinent to the person, but aren't necessarily needed to be expressed yet. And you'll know this by the feeling of lightness you feel when you think of expressing it to them. So what I mean by the feeling of lightness is, you might feel like a little nervous about expressing a certain something, but if you could feel lightness in that direction, you could feel it's expansive, you could feel it just takes some courage, then that's a relevant expression. However, there are other times where you're going to receive information about a person, and you might want them to know these things, and you might see it as something that is true for them. But if you feel a sort of resistance there, if you feel like it'll take effort, that's something to pay attention to. It's paying attention to your intention in sharing the information. Because sometimes, you know, especially when we first develop our gifts, the excitement could be to share a message just because we received the message, because it feels so fun to receive a message. But that could sometimes come from the intention of, you know, just wanting to show that you can share a message or that you get messages. And I'm not saying that this is you, I'm just giving the example. On the other hand, the greatest intention that you can set to navigate your sales of intuition, and this is always my default intention, is the highest good for all involved. When you set that intention inside yourself of the highest good for all involved, you will feel very clearly when certain things are meant to be shared and other things are you just want to share, but it's not meant to be shared just yet. Is this answering your question?
Yeah, that's actually answering it a lot. I had a circumstance like that where one of my friends, long story short, he told me like, oh, I'd been stressed. And I was like, oh, I knew that. And he was like, you knew that, then why didn't you warn me? And I was like, well, I didn't feel it was my place to do so. I felt like for some reason there was a feeling that I had to kind of like hold back and wait for you to reach out to just, you know, kind of like follow up with you after you had gone through your experience, but not necessarily disrupt it in any way. So yeah, that resonates a lot.
Perfect. Yeah, because sometimes you might receive the knowing or the message that someone is stressed and they're going through this, that, and the other, but it's not for you to give the message to that person. It's simply for you to receive and know so that you can hold a space of greater love and compassion towards that person, which is helpful on many levels. And so that way, if they do reach out or if they are going through something, it kind of preps your state of being to know how to respond to them in the best way possible. So it's not always about giving the information. Sometimes it's about just receiving it for yourself and letting the light of it guide you towards the next step. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Perfect. Anything else?
I guess one other question that I did have as well was sometimes as I'm, you know, navigating through like my spiritual journey and I come across people that I feel like their messages resonate with me. And sometimes there'll be two different people that I feel like what they say has a lot of resonance, but then the messages will almost be conflicting. And so sometimes I'm like sometimes I'm like, both of these things kind of feel true and I'm not really sure what to do with it. And so, yeah.
Could you just say the last part again? Because it cut out for me. When you're saying that there's a person you resonate with, but not the message, that part wasn't clear.
Oh, so there might be two people that I resonate with, and they're both speaking on what feel like truths to me, but sometimes those truths seem in opposition with one another. And so sometimes I'm trying to I'm not really sure which belief to hold for myself or what I feel like is most true for me right now. And then I also begin to question, do I need to feel what is most true for me right now? Or can I just kind of let those ideas exist? And so I don't know if you've ever encountered that, because I know that there's a lot of folks in the spiritual community who have all different views on things.
So are you saying that?
And how you kind of navigate that?
So are you saying that there are times where you resonate with the messenger, but not so much the message? Or that you resonate with both messages, but you're not sure?
Maybe.
Go ahead.
I think it's the latter. I resonate with both messages, and then it kind of causes me to feel this it's not necessarily a conflict, but I kind of don't know what to do with it then, because they sometimes the two different messages seem in conflict with one another.
Do you have an example?
Yeah, I can give the classic example. This is one that happened super early in my spiritual journey. So some people believe in the idea of twin flames and karmic contracts. And then, I think most people that I've seen believe in karmic contracts, but some folks believe in twin flames and some people do not. They just think that there are people that you choose and that choose you, versus the idea of a twin flame or this more destined themed idea of a twin flame. And so sometimes I'll hear things about twin flames. I'm like, wow, that does kind of resonate. And then other times I'll hear twin flames doesn't have to be a thing. It's who you choose and who chooses you and who matches your vibration. I'm like, wow, both of those things kind of feel true. And I'm not sure now how I feel about it.
So the ultimate truth is that both truths are true. And the idea is to use whichever, both truths set up a certain frame of reference, so you have a twin flame or you don't have a twin flame. It's the idea is that both truths are valid and true, And the idea is to use whichever frame of reference is most beneficial to you, whatever one most excites you, whatever one most lights you up, so that you can find your own ultimate truth that is more harmonized in all the perspectives. Does that make sense? Was that clear?
Yeah, that does make sense, actually. It makes a lot of sense.
You know, like for example, I remember one time I had given someone a message and about living through excitement, and someone else had given the same person a message about you got to work your ass off. And both of them contain truth, but they both lead towards different realities. So there's truth in both, but the question is, which one do you prefer? Which one most aligns with you? So you can navigate yourself towards that and choose which flavor of life you want to take on more of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. That's funny that you named that one, because when I saw your video that was talking about that, about like, I remember you saying things like, life isn't supposed to be hard. It isn't supposed to be full of struggle. I just heard the message that was like, you need to struggle, you need to work hard. And then your message like completely blew that up for me. So yeah, definitely that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so this is just pointing to the different levels and dimensions of reality, right? You know, whether you want to call it the heaven vibration and the struggle vibration, or 3D and 5D, you know, picture it like a TV channel, or like a TV, where on channel 7, there's a certain set of rules, and there's a certain way of being that might be more exciting. And on channel 3, it might be more the struggle reality. Both realities are true and valid, but the question is, which one do you prefer? Good?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
Cool. Who else we got? Vay, I'll let you do the thing.
All right, let me see here.
Make sure you guys raise your hands so she could see you.
Yeah, I'm just looking at everyone. I'm just following kind of where spirit is leading me. Derek.
All right, thank you. Yeah, it's really hard to even raise my hand, what you were talking about, to take up space. And thank you for that analogy that you gave, that helped to give me some courage as well.
Beautiful.
And yeah, thanks for putting this together, and thanks for everything you do. I resonate deeply with everything you say, and you've really helped me through my own awakening process.
Thank you, man. I'm honored.
Yeah. The question that I come with is this whole premise of following your excitement and acting on your excitement with no expectations. Like I feel that deeply in me, and when I've done that in the past, it's been totally remarkable. Excuse me. But sometimes I fall into this fear of, there's been times in my past when I thought I was following my excitement, and it was more this like delusional manic excitement, and it led to some very extreme like self-destruction. And so I'm trying to find the discernment to find the true excitement, and not this other excitement, which at the time I would have thought was my excitement.
The simple response is that true excitement lights you up. It lights up your soul. You know, where the other form of excitement is anxiety disguised as excitement, right? As Bashar would say. So and the way you know that one is it usually comes from this kind of energy. It's like, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna go to this next thing, but it's kind of like coming from like an erratic energy inside of yourself, right? Where true excitement, it lights you up, it makes you feel more expansive, it gives you an exhale. And it doesn't necessarily mean that it's something that you're like jumping up and down to do. You know, your highest excitement might be to take a very calm, brisk walk. It might be to take a nap. It might be to travel to whatever location, but it's what is the direction of the lighter feeling?
Yeah.
Is this making things more clear?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Was there anything else on it?
No, that covered it. Appreciate it.
Perfect. No problem, man.
I feel like, I'm sorry, I would love to hear more, Derek. I feel like you have more to say, and And I'd love for you, there's something in there that I'm feeling that you want to dig up a little and get a little bit more clarity on. And I would love for you to share that.
Yes.
All right. Thanks for calling me out on that, I guess.
My pleasure.
Calling you forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I understand it logically, but sometimes it feels like it's very tricky, or there's a lot of games that excitement can play to convince me that it is my true excitement.
What experience are you not letting yourself have?
When you asked that, I heard the word love pop into my head, which like I feel like I am having that in my life a lot at the moment, but maybe love.
Okay, how so? Could you continue to express on that?
The first thing that I heard was self-love, even though I've been really diving into that as well recently.
How does your excitement want to express that love that perhaps you're not letting yourself because of a belief? What would that look like for you?
It would look like, yeah, expressing myself, which I've had a really hard time doing. And just recently I've been really like pushing those boundaries. But yeah, like expressing myself, which I guess is a form of expressing my truth.
And what is the fear that you have around it? What is it that you believe is true about expressing yourself?
Fear of judgment.
Can you see and feel how you're just holding yourself back from more excitement? Even if you feel the judgment thing there, but could you also see and feel that you're actually, what you're holding yourself back from is more excitement, more of what you actually want in your life?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So what do you feel like would happen if you went that direction? You know what the fear is, but what positive things do you feel would happen in that direction? Because if you're going to look at the negative, we got to look at the positive too.
Yeah, I can feel it like super deeply as far as the expansion and the connection and what I would bring to other people and how I would help other people, and through all the things that I've been through and the wisdom and the tools and everything.
Anything else?
That's what comes to mind.
See, what I see for you most clearly is it doesn't matter. It's the feeling of it doesn't matter what people think of you. What matters is how you feel, right? Because if you go on following that excitement and feeling alive, you might trigger some people who aren't giving themselves that aliveness, right? So you're serving as that purpose for them, but you feel alive is what matters, is that you're allowing yourself to go into that space. So even if you do receive judgment, you're receiving that judgment from a place of feeling more alive, of like, okay, it's easier to deal with judgment when you're feeling alive than if you're feeling restrained.
Yeah, very true.
Right? You know, so, and from that vantage point, when you do feel more alive, you're going to see through it much more clearly, because you're not actually doing it because you care about what people think. You're doing it because you want to feel more alive, whether it's love, whether it's excitement. That's the feeling that you're looking for more of, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 1 second, let me see something here. Where can you let yourself be more alive, and are you willing to do so? Be honest.
The answer is yes, but the where is not coming to me at the moment.
The what's not coming, sorry?
The where.
Well, in your expression, right?
Right.
how would you express yourself more differently, maybe even in this moment, if you let yourself be more alive? Like, would you swear more? Would you be more silly? Would you dance as you talk? Like, what's wanting to come out right now that maybe you're not letting yourself express because it sounds crazy or whatever the case may be? Can you feel that something's there?
No, I'm kind of freezing up, to be honest.
Okay. One moment. Just looking for another path for you over here. Okay, let's do it this way. Can you see, just as a step one, can you see a place through action where you can choose more of your excitement if you wanted to?
Through action, yes.
What would that be?
Yeah, it's more interaction, with groups that I'm in, with some men's groups, and digging really deep into different things. That's been exciting me a lot recently.
That's something that you haven't taken action on yet?
I've been taking action recently, yes, but that's recent.
Okay, but is there something where you haven't been going in on your excitement where you've been wanting to?
I guess not maybe. Yeah, put myself out publicly into the public space, because everything that I do is in private.
Yeah, and how do you feel about, the thing that's coming to me most for you, man, is like letting yourself have fun and be free and being willing to experiment in that direction, being willing to explore rather than think about it or wonder about it, because then at least if you take a step in that direction, now you're starting to move the energy rather than thinking you need to fix it first or solve the belief first before going that way, right? Because it's not a problem that's there, it's an opportunity. And so if you can feel a direction that you're being led, where you're, whether it's interacting with men's groups or whatever, however else your excitement's wanting to express yourself, it's being willing to experiment in that direction. And that energy of experimentation is going to start to free things up for you automatically.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, that's one thing I've been noticing too recently. Yeah, exactly what you said.
And it's really to let yourself have fun as you do so, not doing it from seriousness, because that's where a lot of people go wrong. Like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this thing, and then they show up with like a serious face and wonder why the energy isn't moving.
Yeah, sometimes it's just hard when you're really nervous.
But let that be fun, right? Yeah. If you're nervous, have fun with your nervousness. Like, oh guys, I'm really nervous, I'm doing this thing here. All right. Right? Like you could have fun even with the nervousness. The nervousness doesn't need to be the reason not to have fun. It could be the amplifier of the fun.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. Things are starting to soften up inside. How do you feel?
Yeah, better.
Better?
Yeah. Like you said, you can have fun with the nervousness, because there was definitely a lot of nervousness.
Cool. Does it feel more possible and practical for you now?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool, brother. Vey, are you doing your thing?
I wasn't sure. I was literally thinking, I was like, Lion, are you going to do your thing or should I do my thing?
I'm waiting for you, Vey.
I was like, maybe the flow is somewhere. Maybe he wants to go somewhere else. Literally thinking the same thing. I love that, Derek. I totally felt, that felt so different to me. At the end, I was like, okay, yes, that feels like the completeness that I was like looking for. So amazing. Thank you so much for just taking up the space. That was like so useful for myself, and I'm sure like everyone in this container. So thank you.
Let's get I want to get Verena Magdalena up here. My energy is going to you.
Right.
Hi. Hi, David. Thank you
Hey,
for,
how are
hi, I'm good. Thank you. So I have a question. Is my body doing what it does because I am not sharing my gifts with the world? I'm a, it feels like I have a lot of migraines and a lot of fainting and even losing sight sometimes. And I feel like my body is weak. I know it's not weak, but it feels sometimes like it's not able to do things other people do. But I don't know if it's kind of started to become like a little prison. It's not a bad prison, but something like containing a part of myself that I'm not letting through, my gift to the world that I'm afraid to share sometimes. I've started to open it. I've started to dare to do more of what I love. But sometimes it feels like my body is getting in the way, like it needs more rest or doesn't want me to open. I don't know. I'm confused.
one moment. You need more expression and excitement. That's what's wanting to allow the energy to flow through you more quickly and more conductively, because what's happening is you're receiving a lot of spiritual energy through your crown. Like I see you receive a lot of spiritual energy, but there's a kind of rigidity in your body caused by a lack of expression and excitement. So it kind of short circuits you. It kind of shuts you down in a certain way and might make it seem like the most exciting thing for you to do is to rest. Because once that happens, you're gonna need to rest a little bit. But what's actually wanting to happen is greater expression and excitement, so that that energy you're receiving can be flowed through to the universe. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And I'm a singer since I am a kid. I'm a singer. I used to sit at night and sing to the moon, and I love singing, and I feel like my part of my gift is to open the voices of other people, to let them express themselves, to allow them to speak, to sing. It's toning, it's singing, it's singing with others to free them and also free the collective. And I don't know if I am already, if that is the path that I'm directed to, or if it's something else that I need to do with the voice. I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. Or is it okay to just wait and be patient?
What a coincidence. So let me ask you something here. That's what calls you and excites you, right?
Yeah. Yes.
How much of it are you doing? How much of just sharing your own voice? Forget about taking on clients and things like that. How much of just sharing your own voice and being expressed in the excitement of your own voice are you doing just for the sake of doing it, just for the sake of being in your own excitement and expression?
When I'm at home, I'm singing with myself and my kids.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not
In the ways
singing
that you
enough.
want to, in the ways that you feel called to.
I feel like I should sing more with people, just more people. I don't know, more strangers sometimes, not just my family. Maybe I'm not going out enough or not carving out enough time to do what I love because I'm scared that people might find it strange that I'm toning.
I could feel in you, I could feel in you that there is a certain way that your excitement has been asking you to express yourself. You're singing a certain inspiration, a certain idea. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Is it? It's a little blurry, but is it me sitting in a room with people and letting them sing and letting them allow the tones that are coming out totally free without judgment. Having
one
them,
moment.
yeah.
This is where you end up taking a back seat to your own gifts. Okay, this is going to be a good one. So yes, you have this beautiful gift of calling forth the magic of others and liberating their voices. But there's a part of you in this moment that is taking a back seat to your own gifts by wanting to just do it for others. Do you follow me? Where what's being asked of you, where I see your energy wanting to expand, is you simply doing that for yourself. You know, be it online, maybe it's an Instagram live or a YouTube live or a gathering, however you want to do it, however excites you. But there's a certain way in which your voice, your music is wanting to be set free so that you can attract more of the people who resonate with that version of your sharing, which will be much more effortless for you. And then you're not taking a back seat to your gifts, you're being your gifts, and you're allowing yourself to attract in those who are called to work with you in that way from that vibration. Is this making sense?
Is it songwriting? Is it making my own songs? Or is it toning my own freedom?
It's sharing and expressing your voice in whatever way feels good and freeing to you, in whatever way feels exciting and free to you. You're not doing it for as a means to an end. You're not doing it for a purpose per se, in terms of like, okay, I'm going to do this so that this happens, or I'm going to do this because then I complete that. It's doing that because that's who you are. You are someone who frees her voice. You are someone who just sings because that's what excites you. You let your music inside you be free. Is this resonating?
Yes.
Is it clear?
It's not that clear, because I feel like there are maybe two paths emerging. It's maybe the path of songwriting, of sharing story and letting the muse come, and the muse, and just writing, channeling the writing, and then making a song and putting it out. Or is it more like light language and just freedom of sound? It's two things. But
I get it. You're looking a little bit more at the format of the expression, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. But what I'm more pointing to is, let me ask you this. What would you do if you had no fear? What would you do if you knew it was impossible to fail? You know, if I can give you a pill of potential, that you take this pill and you just have unlimited potential and you have no fear, what would you do?
it's just singing out whatever the fuck comes out of my mouth.
Yes, see that I felt. See, that's what's wanting to happen more. So there was lots of fear on top of it, but I asked you that question just so you could see for yourself what the truth inside of you actually is, which is, as you said, just singing whatever the fuck wants to come out of your mouth, because that's what feels good, that's who you are. And when you do that, it doesn't matter what form it takes, whether it ends up being songwriting or toning or whatever case may be. Step one is just doing it because that's what's wanting to happen, to come out of you, just letting it be free. It's the expression that's wanting to happen. Is it making more sense now?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes. I have a little thing. So when I'm in a room and I'm picturing me in a room with a few people doing toning, so it's kind of shifting to me being like the voice that's guiding people through with whatever excites me. So I'm hoping that when I'm excited and singing excited and sharing it and being just in a joyful song and playful mode and toning, that they get what they want and need from it without actually trying to force them to have to do something, but maybe just kind of a listening party in a meditative state. I don't know, something like that maybe.
One moment.
Yeah.
For now, just for now, let go of the idea of doing it to guide people. Not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is that in a way you're hiding behind it. And so there's a difference between doing it to guide people and doing it because this is who you are. This is what you want to be doing, regardless of who listens, regardless of who's going to be guided by it, right? That's that level of expression that's wanting to come out so that you're doing it fully for you as opposed to doing it to guide people, right?
Okay.
Does that land for you?
Yes, it does. Yes.
You know, this is where it goes back to there's a powerful quote that Thoth once shared with me, which says, "We are not here to help people. We are just here to shine like the sun." You know, and as a side effect of our shine, we help people, we inspire, we bring joy, we heal. But we're not here to focus on helping people, to focus on guiding people. We're here to shine. So that's what's being asked, is not to hide behind the idea of how you want to help people, but to let yourself step into your shine and just let your voice be free, because that's what's wanting to happen. That's you shining. And then from there, everything will happen on its own. Is
Okay.
that good?
Yes, that's good. Thank
feel
you
that
so
one more?
much. Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Who else we got? Larissa.
Hi, everyone.
What up?
So I was really excited to join this session, and I was all day kind of like giggling and laughing and in a really good mood. And then also in the beginning when it started, and then you started guiding us into that space. And I think it started the moment you started counting. There's this fear coming up, and I have experienced this before. And was not ready to look at it, and maybe it's ready now. I get a strong kind of pain here in the head. It's always on the left side. And I feel it's somehow connected to resistance towards connecting to source for real and also to receive.
It's letting yourself be you, which is not a logical process. Hence the left side pain. Okay, well, how do I do this being me thing? All right, well, maybe I got to do this. I got to do a little of that, right? It's a resistance to letting yourself be you, which, yes, is in connection to source energy and all those things. So go on from there.
That pain is just there when someone else guides me into that space. And then I'm blocked completely. I'm not able to receive anything. It's pure resistance and fear at that moment, and I can't get out of it.
One moment. I still see the same thing as a fear and resistance to letting yourself be you, where you're, how do I express this part? It's like your logic is wanting to interact with the guidance in a certain kind of way. Hold on. Let me make this more clear. Let's do a little experiment here. So if I were to tell you to close your eyes.
Should I do it?
If you'd like.
Okay.
So let me ask you something. Does it feel exciting for you to close your eyes right now?
A bit scary.
A bit scary. What is the fear that comes up? If you were to amplify it, what is the fear?
lose of control.
Perfect. And what do you feel on the other side of losing control, of the other side of that fear? If you were to feel beyond there, what do you feel? Do you feel excitement and freedom, or do you feel like you actually lose control?
Both. Ecstasy by losing control.
So it's a good version of losing control.
Yeah, I always feel that I'm going to be overwhelmed by all of this excitement and ecstasy, because I can get really excited about things and it's overwhelming. I think it's overwhelming. And I feel like, you know, when you guide me into, okay, you're going to receive and receive and receive, and like, no, I'm going to explode out of excitement and ecstasy. It's overwhelming.
That's impossible. It's impossible to be overwhelmed by excitement, just by the very definition and energy of excitement, where excitement is an expansive state. Overwhelmed happens when you're taking too much in and you don't have enough space, right? Excitement is expansive. Bliss is expansive. So it's impossible for you to be overwhelmed. The only thing that can feel overwhelming is your resistance to it, right? So let's do a little game over here. Let's do a little exercise, okay? So close your eyes for me. And you guys could join in too. You guys listening if you want. So with your eyes closed, I want you to amplify that fear. David Lyon's about to lead me into a scary state. So amplify that fear of losing control. I'm going to lose control over here. It might be overwhelming. So that you start to see how silly it is. So that as it amplifies, I want you to feel what's on the other side of those fears. Just feel what's on the other side of those fears. You don't have to go there yet, but just feel and tell me what you feel. Tell me if you feel excitement, if you feel expansion.
Yeah, liberation.
Beautiful. Now, does that feel scary to you, or does that feel exciting to you?
Exciting.
Beautiful. See, now could you let yourself have more of those feelings now? Just dip your foot in the pool a little bit. And this element is in control. That's what you're getting behind. But as you get into that feeling, you'll have more excitement, expansion. Are you with me?
I couldn't, it stopped somehow. Couldn't hear you.
Oh, you couldn't hear me?
Mm-mm.
So close your eyes back. And I want you to feel the freedom on the other side of the fear. Let me know when you're there.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. And I want you to recognize that all this time, you've been stopping at the fear instead of feeling what's beyond the fear. But now that you can feel that there's actually freedom on the other side, you can choose to let yourself have it. You could choose to let yourself experience that freedom just to see what it's like. Does it make you feel more expansive as you let yourself have a little bit of it now? Does it feel more expansive?
I'm very resistant towards it. It's kind of in front of me, this huge pure pool of gold, but I'm not going there.
A huge pool of gold, but you're not going there. What do you, one moment. can you see how on the other side, you're actually going to have more control if you feel into it, because you're going to feel more free, therefore you're going to have more control. Mm. Oh, the giggles. And the more you laugh, the better you feel. The better you feel, the more you laugh. It just keeps doubling. And the more you laugh, the more free you feel. And it just becomes so silly to hold on to those other beliefs, because your laughter just keeps amplifying. And you realize how when you're in freedom, not only do you have more control, you have more fun.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this pool of gold was something scary.
So scary.
What do you know? You could swim. How does that feel?
Quite good.
Quite good. Pretty silly to have that resistance, wasn't it? Good. Happy swimming.
Thanks.
Feel good now?
Yes.
Beautiful. My pleasure. Tied in a little bit of hypnosis over there. And she just keeps on laughing. The funny thing is just how it keeps doubling the more we keep talking. So, one moment before we continue. Thank you, Larissa, by the way.
Thank you.
Who, for the fun of it, who has a question about their spiritual gifts? Hands up, hands up. Vey, I'm gonna let you choose.
I already knew you were gonna say that. I was already
You know
looking.
nothing, right?
I already knew. I was already like choosing. Okay, let me see.
Lean into the mind orgasm, says Jubilee. Yes.
Okay, the energy is going towards, I hope you're saying your name right, Sabella.
Sabella, Bobella, Banana, Fana, Fofella. What's poppin', Sabella?
Much. It's been really, I'm sorry if my English is bad. I'm from Spain, so I hope you understand me well.
Yes.
And I just wanted to, oh, I'm so happy to be here in this. Thank you all.
It's good to see you.
And I was wondering if the way of just finding out what my gifts are is just like letting life guide me through them and surprised by them when I find them, or like kind of searching a bit and doing some like more of a work for trying to find my path.
So just so I'm clear, your question is how you can discover what your gifts are. That was the first part. And what was the second part? Could you clarify that one?
Like it's more like in a flowing way and letting life surprise me with them, or it's more like a way that I should like be like, okay, I know already the answer what it's gonna be.
Okay, tell me.
I like the more exciting way, like I should just do whatever I feel like it's gonna be more fun, right?
Exactly. See, I don't even need to talk. I talk to you telepathically.
Thank you so much.
She's like, thank you. So One moment, give me a second here. So discovering more of your gifts is about excitement. You're on point with that. But I want to explain more of the reason why. The reason why following your highest excitement and passions and inspirations is the way to discover more of your gifts is because the energy of excitement is the energy that nourishes your gifts. You know, so if you were like to water a flower, the flower of your gifts, excitement is the water that waters those flowers so that they can blossom, and then you can see them and be like, oh, I have these gifts, I have that gift. So the more you follow your excitement, the more you're watering the flower that you are, and you allow the flowers of your gifts to come into blossom and for you to see more of them and be able to work with them from there. So yes, it has everything to do with excitement, because excitement is the water to your flower.
Okay. Thank you so
Good?
much. Yeah, yeah. Perfect.
Anything else?
I don't know. One little thing. So I've been a little sick lately, and I feel like it's kind of like the pain is like expanding, and I've taken some medicine, but I don't know if like the thing that is going on inside me it has to do with like taking the doctor medicine or with something energetically that I have to work more, or something that I have to let go of.
For you, it's something that's happening on a physical level. So it's not necessarily an energetic thing that needs to shift or an emotion that needs to release. There's something happening on a physical level, which could be because of the medicine that I can't tell. I'm not sure, but what I'm just being shown is something happening on a physical level, but it's nothing to worry about. It's just your body's going through certain changes.
Okay.
So it would make sense that it could be the medicine.
Okay.
Good?
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's perfect.
Beautiful. Cool. Let me just do a time check. How much time we have? Okay, cool. We'll probably do like another 10, 15 minutes or so. So let's see. Who feels very excited to ask a question? Like, I want to feel your excitement through your hands, like beaming. Ava.
Hello.
What's up?
Hi. I had so many questions and I'm feeling kind of lightheaded because of the meditation, I think, but I've always been really spiritual, but also like kind of disconnected from my body and really indecisive, like so indecisive. And I really want like clear intuition, but I sort of feel like I have this belief, or like I keep encountering this situation where it feels like what my body wants is different from what some voice or spirit or something wants. And I've like sabotaged myself a lot going to psychics about decisions, but then I'll like just everything that comes up, I'll hear something or feel something up here that's like the opposite of what it feels like my body is excited about or wants the most. Yeah, and it's led to a lot of like feeling like my guides aren't on my side or something, or just like this disconnect, or like I'll get a big desire that like requires a big leap, and I'll go to spirit for like confirmation that like, oh, just do what you love, and I'll get the message of like, no, be more like save your money or something, or wait or choose another way. Yeah, just this disconnect that makes me really sad.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I could see the split you're talking about. And I'm going to do my best to articulate this. So, in a sense, what's happening is you're being asked to let go of your old version of what you thought spirituality was. There's a version of spirituality that inhabits your mind that is limited, is the best way I could put, but it's causing this split in you because there are certain beliefs in that version of spirituality that are kind of causing this like liftedness, but it lacks a grounding to it. And so it's like you might feel certain highs and certain things, but it feels like certain things aren't getting done. Is this making sense so far?
Yeah.
Perfect. So a great way to explore this is, one moment. It's like, I almost want to say it's like to let go of what you think spirituality is so that you can discover what it could be. I know it's a little bit tricky over here, so one moment. Who would you be if spirituality didn't exist?
Whoa, the first thing I heard was free, which is pretty crazy.
Right?
Wow.
So that's your sign that the version of spirituality you were holding was limited, because spirituality is very free, right?
Yeah.
To be spiritual simply means to recognize that you are spirit. That's it. That's all that being spiritual means, to recognize that you are spirit and what that means for you. So what I would encourage you to do is to explore who would you be if spirituality wouldn't exist? And then you're actually going to discover real spirituality, because you're going to find more excitement, more freedom, more spectrum to explore. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anything that you need me to elaborate on there? Or is that clear for you?
I think that's clear. Yeah.
Pretty clear. Yeah.
Like to like put spirituality aside right now.
Yeah.
And just like try doing what I want, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's being who you would be if spirituality did not exist. And this is actually something that could be helpful for many of you on here, because so many people have this limited idea of spirituality, thinking that I'm spiritual, so I can't do this and I can't do that. And all of a sudden there's all these limitations. But to be spiritual is to be limitless. It's not to have limitation. So if the idea of being who you would be if spirituality didn't exist makes you feel more free, that's your clue that your idea of spiritual isn't actually spiritual. Right? So let yourself explore in that direction with excitement and be like, oh yeah, I'm excited about my freedom. And then you're going to tune into the more authentic version of spirit. Is that helpful?
Yeah. A few months ago, my original like plan for this year, I was gonna buy a van and just live in a van, because I don't like to be held down. I was like about to buy this van that would cost exactly all the savings I had, which wasn't much at the time. And I had so many different voices in my body saying so many different things, and it was just hard to even know what I wanted, I guess. Sometimes it's hard to know what I want because it feels like I'm like lots of different voices.
Right, I get it. One moment. So this, in a sense, is where more of your shadow is wanting to be integrated. And when I say shadow, I mean all the parts of you that you think you're not. All the aspects of you that you think you're not. Because the only thing that makes it a shadow is that on some level, you've labeled it as bad. You've labeled it as bad or not good enough or something along those lines. That's what makes a shadow, is when we label an aspect of ourselves as bad. Then we end up calling it shadow work that we need to integrate. But so your shadow is quite literally that which you think you are not. So there's certain aspects of you that are actually the even more, were more of your more powerful aspects of you that are wanting to be welcomed, that you may have labeled as bad because of certain expressions of them. But if you let yourself follow your excitement and let whatever expression of you comes out, like even if it's a wild side or a raw side or an I don't give a fuck side, trust that that is your trailblazer. That is the you that cuts through the noise so that you can hear your intuition and stuff more clearly, as opposed to just being in the mental space of quote unquote light and love where there's too many different noises. Is this making sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Is this helpful?
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else?
Yeah, I do have another question if no one else wants to go.
Go ahead.
Recently I made a lot of decisions to cut out things that didn't make me feel excited, like a job, and just a lot of other obligations. And so I'm in this space of okay, there's nothing to do, even though it's risky, there's nothing to do besides what I want to do. And I feel like I'm doing it. But I'm also in a place where I do need money to come in. And so far it's not really, even though I'm I have a blog, I'm actively sharing constantly things with the world, which is what I like to do. So I guess I don't know what's missing or if there's something I'm not tapping into.
Keep following your excitement, and with this new suggestion of letting go of spirituality, the way that you thought spirituality was, it will give you more capability to show up with more of the abundance of yourself. Because that's the variable that was missing, so to speak, was the willingness to show up with more of the abundance of yourself, because it was being blocked by your old definition of spirituality. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So let yourself do that. Let yourself show up with more of the abundance of yourself. Let yourself be excited and free in whatever expressions want to come online. And notice when a part of you comes up, notice when you feel ashamed or judgment towards a part of you. And because that'll be your clue that is the thing that you're judging, the thing that you're resisting or shameful of, is actually the part of you that is more that's wanting to come online. That's more of the abundance of yourself. That's more of the wealth of your spirit. It's more of your power. So just be aware as that happens, and be willing to explore the beliefs you have around it.
Thank you.
Good?
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Alrighty.
Lion,
So,
I'd like to add something on that actually that just came through, where it's just when Ava was speaking about the whole all these different voices saying this and that and everything. Just to point out that any message or download or that we receive, it should, when we're feeling confused as to what to listen to, just notice the texture of it and notice how light it feels, because if there's any rigidity in it, don't do this or don't, or if there's a rigidity and not this but this, or save your those things, that there's the mind that's getting entangled in it. And to just also know that even when we do receive and it's all simple too, that's what was the thing I wanted to touch upon, is the simplicity in the message. It's never start by doing this and then you'll end up there. It's super simple. It could just be this way. And it's a very light, it's a very light feeling. And to also know that even when we are receiving messages from our guides and angels, we always have free will, and that there's no judgment upon whether we do follow that little pull or not in any given moment. And all of these beings that are supporting us are very much aware of that, and there is no judgment, there is no, and that's why I'm saying to pay attention to the feeling of lightness to it, because there's never any rigidity in when it's coming from spirit. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, that felt really good.
Awesome.
so we're going to take one or two more questions over here. Let me feel the excitement. Let's go with the exciting hand. All right, so my energy keeps going back to you, Priscilla. I know we had you, but it seems like you got something potent for all of us over here. So let's call you forth again.
Hi, thank you. And by the way, I just want to say thank you for creating this. I almost booked you for a session on my birthday, but there's so many other things came on, so maybe next year. But I'm so happy that I'm like actually talking to you.
Likewise.
So my question is, I feel, and I think this may go back to what you said earlier, but I really want to connect in with my gifts and really want to explore them. But I feel like I'm doing everything that everyone recommends that you do, like meditate, journal, be like in your thoughts, don't be judgmental, blah, blah, blah. But it's like nothing's happening. And then again, like I get those random moments where like I will receive them, but is there's something that my spirit guides or my angels, what do they want me to do so that way I can communicate with them? Because I kind of miss that connection. I don't have it anymore, and I don't feel them around, honestly, ever. And I know that they're there, but I don't hear them. And then when I do, it feels so good to like hear from them and stuff. So what do they want me to do to be more connected to them?
It's not that we're not here. It's that we want you to play and have fun more and to not need them so much so that you could actually move forward in your life without having a parachute attached to you. Meaning, if you're running with a parachute on, it's very difficult to move forward. So we're just wanting you to play and have fun more and let yourself move forward without needing these things so that your version of them could come into you that is different than what everyone else has been suggesting to you, because you do things through playfulness and do things and trying this method and that method. Your way is really playfulness and fun, which is very different than what a lot of people may have taught you on how to do things. Their ways might be very rigid. It might be more methodical or more serious. The only message that's wanting to get through to you is let yourself just play and have fun and not need them so that you could see more of the power of yourself. And as you see more of your own power and more of your own value and more of your own validation and worth, then you can receive more of the validation of your gifts without them disempowering you. Because that's the only thing they don't want, is for you to be disempowered by the gifts to the point where when you have them, you feel strong, and when you don't, you feel weak. So you're learning to tune into more of the gift of yourself, recognizing that you are the gift from God. You are the gift of the universe. It's you. And so as you get more comfortable in doing so, as you play more in that realm and let yourself have fun, you'll find that they come more online when you least expect it, but that they're always here. You're in a sense being observed to see how you're going to be playing the game, to see what choices you're going to make so that they know. Is this making sense?
You cut out a little bit in the end, but everything made a lot of sense. Yeah.
I cut out in the end. So basically, they're wanting to see what you do for yourself with your own power, with your own playfulness, without your gifts, so to speak, so that you don't disempower yourself with the idea of gifts. You're in a stage of validating yourself, of confirming yourself, of being okay with your own power, your own playfulness, your own wisdom, so that once you feel more empowered in that, then more of your gifts can come online without disempowering you. Does that make sense?
You're making me cry. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
I get it. I was in that place too once upon a time, so I get it. I know it. I know what that could feel like, you know. But it's like what I literally see. It's like, imagine there's you in the middle, and there's all your gifts and all your guides around you, just observing and wondering like what you're gonna do, and they're just like, in a sense, waiting for you to cross a certain finish line of like, you know what, I'm gonna do this no matter what, because this is me. I'm just gonna go this way, even if I don't know how to do it. And then as soon as you start to empower yourself enough, you're going to find these things just start to come online, and you'll be like, oh, that's why it was happening like that. Make sense?
Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Cool. So let's go with one more. Katerina says, this is almost exactly what I wanted to ask. Thank you so much for this insight. It makes so much sense. Perfect. Beautiful. Cool. So we're going to take one more. Let's see over here. Hands of excitement. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. All right. All right. Let's go with Katerina.
Hello, everyone.
What up?
From Switzerland. I'm very excited to be here and talk to all of you guys. I've enjoyed this talk so far very much. So yeah, after one of my bigger questions just got answered, really, I can just jump that one and ask about. So since I started my spiritual journey, I've become more and more sure about that I am guided, and I feel those energies around me. But also it feels like I'm opening so many boxes at once, because I feel like a galactic realm. I feel also people that I hear with me on this planet, and like I feel nature talking to me as well. But so I haven't really been able yet to really download stuff or channel things and get clear on who is talking to me. And so I really crave this connection, just like Priscilla, of being able to know who I'm talking to and really get clear answers. So on my journey, this is why I'm so excited, and I'm following this excitement of finding all those ways to connect to those sources. But I'm jumping
Step
around.
one. Huh? Sorry, just to pause you for one moment.
Yes.
Step one is always learning to first feel the magic of your heart. Yes. That is before connecting to other beings and you know, guides and angels and all these things. You might experience them here and there, but step one is always learning to connect to the magic of your own heart first, because that is the shine that not only is your power point, but that's what emits a shine that allows you to connect to all other beings from a heart center. That way you can hear their words and feel the words very clearly. So it's connecting to the magic of your heart through passion, excitement, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Beautiful. And so I've looked for many different ways to do that as well. So I also appreciate all the practices that you talk about on your Instagram, for example. So I'm doing all this things, but I feel like I'm jumping around a little bit, and I'm just wondering and curious about what you say about if I can distract myself actually by being too open to too many sources, and what you say about while practicing those things, like connecting to my heart and really connecting to my own source, whether there's a possibility of getting too distracted by too many different practices at once, and if it is better maybe or recommended by you to might be just focusing on one thing and really get that clear and get better at that, than just following this excitement to everywhere or anywhere and just try anything and I don't know, yeah, not be patient enough maybe for it to really work. I don't know.
Well, here's the subtlety. So yes, the only thing you need to do is follow your excitement, no matter where it leads, even if it's one thing or many things. The subtlety is following your excitement without an insistence on a certain outcome. Right? If you're following your excitement so that these gifts will be there, it's just going to create resistance. Insistence creates resistance. And so it's just following excitement for excitement's sake, because that's what excites you. Because it might take you on a completely unexpected path to find your own version of the things that you've been reading and learning about that you won't find in the realms that you're currently looking. Because the way that it's wanting to happen for you is not at all like how you might think it would happen. And there's no way for your mind to even grasp it now, because it needs to follow that path of excitement to discover for itself so it's instead of having an insistence on the gifts, it's simply, well, I just want to be more me, right? I just want to be more me. That's a powerful intention. I just want to experience more me, enjoy more me. That will lead you to more of the magic of your heart and magic of your gifts in a way that you least expect, but let go of the insistence.
Yes, okay, that really much resonates with some of the thoughts I had about that, because it feels right for me to just jump on all those different trains and just try, because it's a lot of fun for me. But at the same time, I sometimes feel guilty for not maybe wanting to practice this over and over again, because it just doesn't feel right, and to keep on practicing that and trying to make this better or whatever. Yes. So yeah, that is actually good to hear for me. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, it was cutting out a little bit, but what your guides are saying over and over again is to do it because you want to feel more alive.
Yes.
That's your only reason that you need, that as you follow your excitement, is just because it makes you feel alive and you would love to feel even more alive. That's it. That's the only reason you need.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Yeah, that helps.
Good? Perfect. Anything else?
No, not right now. I'm just happy to have been here and also listen to you all. Thank you.
Perfect. Cool. All right, guys. So we're going to start closing this up. Before I do, does anyone, either Avea or anyone, have anything that they just want to express, that their love wants to express, that they want to share? I would love to hear you. Jubilee. I saw that laugh.
Yay, hi. Thank you
What
so
up?
much. Okay, wait, I don't need to see me. Okay, cool. Hey guys. Thank you so much, David, Ryan, and Avea for opening up this space for us and filling it with love and comfort, and so much fun to listen to everyone and to hear all your journeys and like where you're going in life. It's so cool. And I was just trying not to be too like annoying with some of my comments or like too giddy, but like so much of what you were saying was like sparking inspiration in me. And something that I really feel like the need to share is something that I've been going through, at least in my life, is learning how to connect even more strongly with my womb, and like really learning how to like listen to how she speaks and what she says. And by first like just even getting connected to your menstruation and your blood, and like seeing like the joy and happiness it can bring, and like the trauma and like whatever you're going through. But like I feel that a lot of times when we're searching for like angels or spirits or whatever, that a lot of like the power source within us, especially as women and like goddesses that hold that power, it's like she whispers to you, and it's like once you start to like hear the whisper of her voice, it's like easy to hear like the other things coming through. I don't know, it just sounds like using that.
Love
Sorry,
that.
like all about blood and menstruations. Sorry, thank you though for Thank you for letting me share that. And thank you guys for speaking. And it was, yeah, again, very cool to hear everyone.
Of course.
But
Yes,
yeah,
thank you
womb
for your
ship.
joy.
I created a word called womb ship. It's like womb ship,
Ship.
friendship, spaceship. Like it's everything, womb ship.
Hey, I like it. Dope. Thank you, Jubilee.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else? Romeo. Romeo must not die.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. I'm feeling so grateful, and I really love you, each and every one of you. First, because I love myself, but second, because I truly resonate with everything that you have said, all of you, during this beautiful space that you have created. I'm feeling really humble, and I feel that this space, just for these energies, like being here, are really were opening me up without even like wanting to ask a question, for example. I was having little questions in my mind, and they were like boom, boom, answering like instantly without me wanting to say something, because the answers were coming just for being in this space. Um, Even now I feel this trample inside of me, like my heart is pumping, and all my being is like truly in light. So I really thank you, I love you, and I really I'm honored to be part of this like community and like home that you and all we have created. So I
Yes.
really, brother, thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for being here, man. I love your light. Awesome. Cool. Vay, you got anything you want to share?
No, I'm just like totally beaming. I love those two. Even when you asked earlier and you're like, oh, whoever has something to say, I was like, no, I'm good. And then Jubilee went on and I was just getting more lit. And then Romeo went on and I was just like, oh, I could just feel you guys so beautiful, so shiny.
Dope. Is there anyone else who didn't get a chance to share, who wants to express something? You can put your hand up, or you could even just call yourself forth. No. All right, cool. Well, so then on that note, I'm gonna say thank you very much, guys. This has been a very fun and successful experiment of living magic and love as a currency. This was a lot of fun for me. It was nice to get to connect with each of you personally and just try out new things. And hopefully this encourages you to experiment more as well and to just try things out in your inspirations and see what's possible. And of course, all of you who are here are going to receive, and also those of you who weren't here, you're going to receive the replay of this so that you could revisit it anytime you want. And for those of you who want to express your love in whatever way you want to do, that'll also be in the email as well. So thank you so much for being here, and we'll see more of you soon. All right. Peace, guys.